Hello and welcome to Essay Today. I'm Andrew Chernoff. Today we'll sit down with current Essay President Neil Casey and hear from the newly appointed Essay Director of Technology, Ross Lazerowitz. But first, let's find out what today's headlines are. Orange Central officially started today on the Hill. The week features numerous events for alumni and current students. Here are a few highlights. Now, if you want a free t-shirt for homecoming, be sure to drop by Shine tomorrow and Wednesday between 11 and 2 to answer some very easy trivia questions. I got a few last year. Thursday night features a lecture by former NASA Chief Sean O'Keefe. And, of course, the football game against South Florida is Friday night at 8 o'clock. Meanwhile, Syracuse University students have a new hangout spot on campus. The Morehouse Coffee Bar and Lounge opened today in the Alabrandi Catholic Center. Attendees enjoyed live music and free pastries. The coffee house and lounge is entirely student-run. Also this week is Remembrance Week at SU. It's a time for all to reflect and remember the lives of the 35 Syracuse students who died on Pan Am Flight 103 back in 1988. The 35 Remembrance Scholars on the Hill will be hosting numerous events. In fact, right now, there's a candlelight vigil on the quad. The marquee event is the rose-laying ceremony on Friday afternoon. Now, let's hand it over to current Essay President Neil Casey for this week's campus address. Neil, what do you have for us this week?
Thanks, Andrew. It's great to be back, and good evening, everyone, for one of our last Essay Today updates of the semester and of the 55th session. And you know what that means? That means all of our budgets are coming due. We're about to go through our final budget meeting of the year. We had over $800,000 requested from student organizations this semester, and we only had $400,000 to give out. So kudos to everyone for putting together some great budgets and great events that they want to see on campus next semester. So tonight we'll be going through those budget by budget and looking at each individual one. Obviously, you can see it's an enormous job that our finance board spends a lot of time under the direction of Comptroller Jeff Rickert. They spent the last 3 weeks looking at each individual budget, looking very detailed to make sure that we're only funding the best events on campus. So tonight, all the approvals will go through the assembly. We want to remind everyone that no changes will be made tonight. If you're upset about what the outcome was, to make sure you let us know and file through appeals. But tonight, we can't make any changes itself. I also want to remind everyone, like Andrew talked about all the events happening this week for Remembrance Week. You can see all of us wearing our great white ribbons in honor of Remembrance Week and those 35 SU students. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone at the rose-laying ceremony at 2:03 p.m. on Friday at the Whispering Wall. So that's all we have for this week, and we'll look forward to seeing you one last time before Thanksgiving break. Thanks.
Thanks, Neil. We'll see you a little bit later. But first, we go one-on-one with newly appointed Essay Director of Technology, Ross Lazerowitz, when we come back. Stay tuned. You
don't need to be bigger than life to be a good dad. You just need to spend time with your kids. It takes a man to be a dad. Everyone has friends. There's online friends. Friends to go out with on a Saturday night. Friends to hang out with and do nothing. Friends who show up on moving day. And then there are the friends who'll be there if someone is dealing with a mental illness. Are you one of those friends?
Our story begins with a journey for knowledge. For research indicates that when a parent taketh a more active role in their child's quest for education, that child will be bestowed with higher grades and higher sense of being. Just a wee bit of time out of your meeting schedule is all it takes to show your allegiance.
Hear what your kids are saying. Get more involved. Join your local PTA.
So, are you going out tonight?
I can't. My parents say I have to be home right after work.
That's so gay.
Totally gay.
Ugh, that is so Emma and Julia.
Why are you saying that's so Emma and Julia?
Well, you know, when something is dumb or stupid, you say that's so Emma and Julia.
Who says that?
Everyone.
Imagine if who you are were used as an insult. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
And welcome back to Essay Today. Essay Director of Technology, Ross Lazerowitz, joins us on the show. Thank you very much for joining us today, Ross. Now, Ross, you're working fast and furious to improve essays technology back to where it should be here in 2011. What's the current state of essays technology?
Well, essays technology is pretty good right now, but I want to make it great. I want to leverage social media because we're living in pretty extraordinary times now, with the ability for people to get directly in touch with other people using social media. So I'm trying to leverage things like social media to really get us in touch with the student body.
Now, one of the things that you're helping develop is a new text-to-vote system in the Assembly.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the first meeting I went to at the Assembly, I noticed that we spent 15 minutes talking about voting and then 20 minutes voting, which to me it was like, this is ludicrous. How can I improve this? So I had seen in the class a few years back a voting system that was in beta back then called polleverywhere.com. And every Assembly member is registered now. And we put up the codes on the projector, and within 2 minutes we have the results. They text in their thing with the code, yes or no, and then 2 minutes later, got the results.
Now, is that sort of like what you might see in some classes here at Syracuse, where you text in that you're in class and
yeah, it could very well be the same system. Some classes have those clicker remotes too. We looked into that, but they're a little bit more costly, and you got to hand out the remotes each time. So it's easier if they can just pick up their cell phone and vote.
Incredible, 2011. You got to love that stuff. Now, Ross, you also you mentioned the essay hashtag that you want to use.
Right.
What's the purpose of having a hashtag like essay on Twitter?
Well, I wanted there to be a lot more transparency in SA in terms of constituents getting in touch with their reps. So I thought, why not be able to use Twitter to get all these ideas and concerns? So if someone tweets with the hashtag SAHelp, we can then go look it up and we can mine all these tweets. Now bear in mind, they're only 140 characters, so we can really get the straight idea. We're not going to have paragraphs of people writing about stuff. We can just get the straight idea, and then we can follow up if we, have good, valid information.
Now, by doing this, do you think you'll hear more feedback from the student body?
Oh yeah, definitely. I want it to be instilled in everyone's minds that if something's not right that they think we can help with, that they can tweet with the hashtag, and we're there to help.
Now, I want to talk about elections coming up. I know big opportunity for you to use a lot of social media. What do you want to use when it comes to the elections, when it comes to technology?
Well, one thing we're working with you guys with the debate is using Twitter to take questions during the debate. So on Sunday during the debate, everyone come. You'll be able to tweet your question, and once we approve it, so make sure people don't put bad things in their tweets. It will fly up to a screen, and your question will be asked. And that debate's being live streamed. If you tweet with the hashtag #EssayDebate, we'll put together what everyone's saying about it while it's happening on other screens in the room using Twitterful.
It's sort of a new wave, I guess you could say, because using people who might not even be in the room is a way to get people involved.
I mean, absolutely. Twitter is not just campus-wide, but changing things worldwide. I mean, look at the Arab Spring. Twitter is fueling a lot of that. People wouldn't have been able to organize movements like that without social media. So we're living in pretty extraordinary times in terms of social media, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff.
And then also want to talk about the website for Student Association. How do you want to improve that website?
The website's pretty good, but like I said, I want everything to be great. Everything should be excellent. So what we want to do there is make it really easy for someone to get in touch with their representative. So when you fill out a form, you'll put in your home college. That's what we're trying to do, and your representative will get CC'd. So we'll go directly to the reps and have this exchange going. We're also working on getting all the initiatives up there displayed in the right way, because we have a lot of initiatives. So we're working this accordion-like system where you can really easily and briefly see and read about all of our initiatives.
Great. Awesome. Hey, Ross, thank you very much for joining us today here on Essay Today. Anytime, you're welcome to come back. So we have a seat for you. Coming up next, though, Essay President Neil Casey joins us. Stay tuned.
So, do you have any questions?
What is your soup of the day?
We have a mulligatawny soup.
Oh, do you have any specials?
We have a steak special today.
Oh, how's that cooked?
That's pan-seared and then...
Does it come with a side dish? Is it grilled? Can I have it steamed? So, what do you recommend? What kind of pie do you have? You're an actor. Aren't you from Ohio?
Any questions?
Ask questions. For the 10 questions everyone should know, go to ahrq.gov.
Pop quiz for you. In what movie did I play a gang leader struggling in school? Who was my teacher? What did I learn in math class? Oh, and here's one about you. What did your kid learn in math class today?
Know what really matters. Know about your kid's school. And know about your kid. Find out 100 ways to know more, do more.
Can be deadly. Passing gas releases a toxic fog of ammonia and hydrogen cyanide, which can be especially harmful on an infant's developing lungs. Passing gas can even contribute to sudden infant death syndrome. Kids shouldn't be exposed to secondhand smoke. Don't pass gas. Take it outside.
SA President Neil Casey joins us again here on SA Today. Neil, thanks again for coming in.
As always.
As always, I like that. Now, Neil, Remembrance Week this week. In fact, right now there's the candlelight vigil being held on the quad. It's in memory, I guess you could say, of the 35 Syracuse students that perished on Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland in 1988. And as a reward, as memory, I guess you could say, the lasting legacy, there's 35 Syracuse seniors that are picked for it every year. What do those Remembrance Scholars do?
Well, they put together a great week. I think that this is an event that really brings this entire community together. And what's really interesting about it is it links a small town in Scotland with a city in upstate New York in the United States. Those two cities will forever be tied together with this Remembrance Scholar program. Because as you know, we have Lockerbie Scholars. There are 2 students from Scotland who come study in SU for a year every year. So it's important for us as a community to remember that, to remember the events that happen and the effect that terrorism has on the world, especially as, what a more potent time to look at that type of event. So there's a lot going on there. The Remembrance Scholars put in a lot of work here, the entire semester to make this event happen, and it's important for us to go out and support them at these events.
And I want to get back to actually a point that you just made. I was in Lockerbie, Scotland in April, and I was wearing my Syracuse sweatshirt because I feel if you're over in London, you might as well go visit the place.
Sure.
And people came up to you and started just talking with you about Syracuse. It's unbelievable the bond that they actually had.
Right. And I think you can find that with the Syracuse community across the whole country and across the globe. Whether it's Lockerbie, Scotland, or Hong Kong, China, where if you're wearing SU, that shows you that the value of our degree is really high, and these 2 cities are forever going to be linked together.
Now, what are some of the specific events that the Remembrance Scholars are going to be putting on this week?
Well, there's a panel talking about how far we've come since what terrorism is today, since it was in 1998. One of the most important events really is the rose-laying ceremony that's going to take place at 2:03 p.m. at the Whispering Wall on Friday, followed by the Remembrance Scholar Convocation at 3 p.m. That's a very poignant ceremony. It's a great ceremony, especially if you've never seen it before, to attend and learn about the victims. And a lot of times the victim families come, and you can hear about from faculty on the day that happened, what took place on campus that day.
Now, Neil, shifting gears a little bit, it's also homecoming week here at Syracuse. There's a lot of events going on this week.
It's a crazy week.
What should students look forward to most this week?
I think the best part about homecoming on this campus is how we've branded it as Orange Central, right? So it's homecoming, it's plus reunion. And I think the most important thing for students to look forward to all week is connecting with alumni. We talked about the value of the SU brand, right? And about how you can connect no matter where you're on the globe. And that shows a lot about our alumni network that's over 200,000 people strong across the country and across the globe. So I call it the Cuse effect, where you can put a bunch of people in one room and all they know is Syracuse and they can talk for hours. These alumni, you may be interested in what they have in their careers and what experience they had, but they want to hear from you about what campus is like now when you're a student. So go up and introduce yourselves and find out their story.
Do you have a favorite activity from homecoming?
I love AutoQuest. It's a great event, and it's because I'm very good at SU trivia, so I look forward to winning that one every year.
AutoQuest is a scavenger hunt around campus? Okay.
Yes.
And then budget. You mentioned that earlier in your address. What's going on with the budget?
Sure. Well, tonight's our final budget meeting of the semester where we're passing all the budgets for next semester. So we have about, like I said before, we had about $800,000 in requests for only $400,000 worth of funds, which obviously presents a huge challenge. So we're getting there. We spent a lot of time going through, give a lot of credit to our comptroller, Jeff Rickard, and his finance board, for really putting their nose to the grindstone and cranking out these budgets. So I want to make sure that organizations know that if they're not happy with the outcome, we can't do anything about it tonight. There's an appeals process. We've set along a lot of money for appeals, so there'll be that opportunity there.
Great. Hey, Neil, thank you very much again for joining us here on SA Today. Join us again next week and follow us on CitrusTV News Live at 6 all week long for the latest SU news. But until then, we'll see you next time and join the live debate this Sunday. See you next time, Syracuse.